Hey there, collectors. Hope you all are doing well out there. I am excited today. I've got a box in front of me with 16 cards back from SGC, and I've actually been sitting on this box for a couple of days now. I have not had the time to sit down, set up, get everything ready to go, and do a submission reveal. And so I am really ready to get into these cards. If you've seen a number of my SGC subs in the past, a lot of them happen to be not my cards. Buddy of mine sent some cards, and this one is different. These ones are all my cards, so I am a little bit more excited because of that. But these cards were sent in on a 1970s and 80s special. It was a while back. In fact, it took, I think, about 5 weeks round trip on these ones. That is fairly slow for SGC. I know that's probably old news in terms of SGC being backed up. They may be worked out of their backlog by now. I don't know, but yeah, it's a little bit longer than typical for SGC. And in fact, I'd forgotten what was in here. I was just looking at the list of my pre-grades. I did my pre-grades this time around, so we'll have those to go over. And I forgot that there are some pretty cool cards in this lot. So I will say that the industry, the grading industry as a whole, there's a lot of buzz currently, a lot of confusion, a lot of talk of changing standards, lots of stuff going on there. I will probably touch on that as we go through this submission. I'm not going to sit up here on at a pulpit and preach for the beginning of this, but I do have a lot of thoughts in my head, my own opinions, things that I've seen. I will probably bring those up and touch on that as we go through this. So if you are interested in this one guy's opinion on a lot of things going on in the industry, stick around. If you don't care, still stick around, because I think you're going to see some cool cards. So without further ado, let's cut into this box. All right, so there we are. The good news is that I got no cards returned out of slabs, so that means I got them all graded, nothing returned counterfeit or miscut or anything like that, which is good. Now I will say that there is one card in here that I actually requested an authenticate only. I'll get into that when we get to it. But like I said, I've actually got the card list right here of what was sent in with the grades, with my notes. That'll probably be blurred out because I don't want to ruin the reveal. But like I always say, if you are going to grade your cards, you should put the effort into to actually improve your own skill, your own estimating, and part of doing that is pre-grading your cards when you send them off, comparing them to what you get. Now I know, and I will say this, I don't know how I'll say this, but I will say that we've shown on videos here in the past how even among a grading company you can get wildly different grades, and so you must take that with a grain of salt. But that being said, you won't get better if you don't try, be critical, learn from your mistakes, find where you're good, be more conservative in what you think a lot of times. So I'm going to move these off to the side. I'm going to have this, actually, I'll put this right here. All right, so, oh my gosh, man, I got a frog in my throat today. And I'm just going to go, I'm trying to think of what to hold for last. I like those ones. That one's a pretty good one. That one's a fun one. All right, here we go. We'll just start with this. So again, this is a 70s and 80s. 70s and 80s lot. If you've watched any of my videos or some of my videos, I always talk about it. Late 60s, but 70s, 80s, and early 90s is really where my collection sits. I'm currently working on a lot of 70s sets, graded and raw, but a lot of the guys that I watched when I started paying attention, collecting sports cards, they were rookies in the 70s, and so there's a lot of cards there that have a big emotional appeal to me. The early 80s You've seen me get some really good grades on the early 80s, Ripken and Sandberg and Boggs and Gwynn, stuff like that. But here I managed to pick up a really, really, really sharp 76 set. And I pulled some of the stars that I believe I thought I would at least get a 7. With maybe some hopeful 8s on this bench. I think I am just expecting a 7, and I have no notes. And the reason I'm doing this, and we'll start our preaching here, is that I do believe SGC has tightened down their not tightened down, but gotten more strict. Their standards have gotten harder. It's anecdotal. But there's buzz, and I think they've maybe mentioned, but the new scanning technology. I don't like the sound of that, personally. I also don't like the fact that we've seen other collectors say things, like, I want to reslab this, and they we don't guarantee you that same grade. I think that argument stands for itself, why I don't like that. But the biggest concern I have, and again, I am not a guy chasing 9s and 10s on these cards. I really care about accuracy and consistency across the mid grades. 4s through 8s, 3s, that type of thing, especially with vintage cards. And my concern is that the companies are currently assigning grades where I should be able to see with my eyes, even though they're getting bad, see with my eyes why they received a 6 or a 7 or even a 5. When scanning technology is picking up imperfections that I can't see, and then assigning grades where I should be able to see imperfections, flaws, damage, that is where I have the problem. That is where I'm concerned about where the industry may be headed. Okay, now it's all out there. We haven't even seen a single card. I think this Johnny Bench gets a 7, and it got a 7. So there we go. Right now we're 1 for 1. I did say 7. But I do believe that this is a ridiculously nice 7, and that was a conservative grade in my mind. I think that's an old 8, maybe even an 8.5. So there it is. It's gorgeous. Next one, we're going to stay in the same set, Rod Carew. This one, pardon me, I said a 7, but I did maybe see a little bit of something on the upper right. So I think this card is going to look extremely similar. If it gets a 6, I might be a little disappointed, but I think this one is another 7. And there we go. So 7, number 2. And again, guys, look at that. Those are stunning cards. Perfectly centered, front and back. I'm trying to see. Yeah, I don't even think there was any printing issues. And again, I think that maybe cut things you might be able to see it right there. Maybe these tiny little flecks that are just part of the vintage manufacturing process are given grades like that now. So again, my pre-grading estimate is correct, and I'm still a little disappointed. Last one, Mike Schmidt. This one right here, I actually have a hopeful 8. I have a 7 with a hopeful 8. So I think this one may have even been a little bit tighter than those ones. So I've hit 7, 7, and an 8. So hey, I think I'm being hypercritical, and I'm actually pretty happy with that one, because Exactly why I said 8 over the other ones. Now I'm not remembering. I don't really have any notes, but doggone it, that is a good looking card right there. Again, the surface and the print on these was just spectacular. I'm building a high grade 76 set, so I'm pretty familiar with this set. And when the print on these ones, centering, fantastic, but the print on these has been really, 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 really good. All right, this is a 74 Nolan Ryan. I am a big Ryan guy. Slab run in the works. This must have been one of the nicer ones I've had. I think I've got a PC one. I can't remember what grade it is, but I have a 7, hopeful 8 on this one. Again, no notes as to why exactly. So it's sharp, but what is that new scanning technology picking up? I think centering was okay. 7, hopeful 8. That one I'm actually pleased with. I will tell you that one I am actually pleased with. And 8, maybe you can see a little bit of rough cut along that bottom right there. That's probably why I said it, actually. But I mean, centered. This is another one. 74 was rubbish for their print. So I'm actually pretty pleased with that. So, and well, here it goes. Nolan Ryan. 7, hopeful 8. All right, 82 Topps, regular, not the traded. Ripken. I am actually guessing an 8.5 on this one. 8.5, no notes. Anecdotally, again, I've seen less of the half grades from SGC. Now, that is one of the things that historically I've appreciated about SGC is that their scale is more linear. PSA, and a 0.5 grade is really a 0.8 grade. It's not a 0.5 grade. Whereas SGC, Beckett, some of the others, the half grades are truly half grades. An 8.5 is a nicer 8, as opposed to a near 9, like a PSA. I digress too far. I think this gets an 8.5. Again, haven't seen the half grades as much. And so we get an 8 on this one. But again, with it, I said 8.5, so I'm not going to know why that one didn't get an 8.5, why it got an 8 as opposed to a 9. Maybe the back centering, now that I look at it, which that's always one of the weakest arguments in my mind. But that's a really, really, really good looking card. So, whether I throw that one up for sale or put that one in a high grade set for somebody. Here's one iconic card, the Bill Ripken. This is the expletive face example. It is the error. It is off-centered, and it does have a little bit of rough cut, I believe, on the top and on the right. It is not a perfect card. I was expecting a 7.5 on this one. But as this is one where it's like it was right on the fence whether it was worth it to slab. If it got a friendly 8, I think I was doing well. But even 7.5. Good. If it gets a 6, I may just have to crack it out. But I said a 7.5. Okay. I won't complain about that one, folks. I will not complain about that one. Now you can actually see when I said rough cut, see the fuzz right there? I'm actually kind of pleased with that, a little bit relieved. That's not damage, so especially visible in like older O-Peaches, but like fuzz outside of the card as opposed to chipping inside of the edges, it's up for debate in the hobby as to kind of, you know, what people think about that. I'm simply going to say that this grader decided that the extra fuzz off of a slight rough cut did not constitute damage. I will say that I believe it is on the hairy edge of a 9's centering. If you look at the gap right there and the gap right there, that's what I was judging mine off of. And again, here I'm nitpicking a card that got, what, a 1.5 higher than I thought it would, and a 9 and the Ripken error. You know, this is awesome. There you go. Sometimes you do get a friendly grade. I love that. I love that. All right, Herbie Puckett, 85 Donruss. These ones are tough. I must have thought this one's good. I put a range on this of an 8.5 to a 9, with possibly the top edge. And again, it was probably something like that fuzz. If you've graded a bunch of 85 Donruss, though, you know it can be all over the place. You can see something, they don't see something. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. And the Puckett gets a 9, and I am happy. That was at the higher end of what I thought. Again, I think you can even see it right there, where it has that kind of, it's that fuzzy look. Again, it's not damage. It's fuzz off of the edge of it as a rough cut. Other than that, this one is a great looking card in terms of centering. I'm actually getting excited about another card that's upcoming that I have a good feeling about, but I actually really like this card. I don't know if I've got a better one. That may actually go into the PC. Happy with that one. Happy with that one. A card that I have had atrocious luck with is the 85 McGwire. I put an 8.5 on this one. The print is always tough on this one. Centering is rough. I said an 8.5. It gets a 9. That's the best one I have got. Man, I thought I was pretty critical on the grades, and so far I've been doing pretty good. But that, like I said, this one I've had such bad luck with. I may have been a little bit even more critical, but I do believe that one's going into the PC because that's the first 9 I've ever pulled off of one of those. I think 8. I've had a couple of 8.5s and a couple of 8s on that one. I am really pleased with that. 1, 2, and 3. All right, these next 3 coming up. These ones were fun, so check that out. That is a blank back. All right, and I've got it came in a binder of old vintage football cards. These are from '72, and I've got 3 of them commons. And I was trying to figure out, even in terms like what SGC terms them, whether they're proof cards or blank back cards or whatever. But I've got 3 of them here, and 2 of them, I think one of them's going to get a 6, one of them's going to get a 5, and I had one at a 4 to 5 and then changed my mind and said, just put an A on that one, because I've actually never even done that to SGC, to just authenticate it. Since I can't see which card it is on the back, we simply have to flip it over. And again, I think there's an A, a 5, and a 6, and this one happens to be, there's the authentic Dave Wilcox. Yep, this was the one I said just authenticate. It's a pretty, like, pardon me. If you look at it, it looks pretty good, but there are some surface issues. I think there was some paper lift around the corners. Again, with just how stringent, how strict I've seen the grading lately. I was just like, probably not worth it. For fun, let's just go. But as you can see, it is, I mean, it's centered. It's a gorgeous looking card. SGC just calls them blank backs. That is the authentic one. And I apologize for my voice. I got a frog in my throat. Next one up, again, 5 or 6, or, oh, they just authenticated it. Maybe they didn't grade this one, because this one I I said grade it, but they didn't. But this is Bob Grimm. And this is actually, I thought this was the best of them. I thought this one was going to get a 6. You can see it's a little bit rough cut up there and maybe slightly soft on that corner for sure. So maybe this is one that they only authenticate because, quite frankly, I mean, it's to me it looks perfectly sized and definitely worthy of a number grade. So maybe they just authenticate. This is a first for me when it comes to SGC. And let's see if that theory holds, because this one is number 97, Julius Adams, and it also just does get an authentic. So these ones right here are going to hopefully fly on eye appeal. This one I did think was a 5. You can see that this one isn't quite as centered, rough along the right side. I think soft at the lower right. But there you have it again. Whoops, dropping stuff all over the place. You know, one more time, we got 3 authentic blank back 72 Topps football. That was just kind of fun. Let us go with, all right, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 left. Let's go with this one. Let's go with this one. Now, this is a Mattingly, Don Mattingly, 1984. I believe in a previous video, I sent the best looking Mattingly I've ever seen to PSA, thinking that it had a shot at a 10. It got a 9. I think that this one is every bit as good. And I simply have 9+ on this one. So, you know, maybe 9.5, maybe 10. But this card was an absolute stunner. You can see maybe a tad off-centered on the back, but I mean, it was crispy. 9 or better in my mind. Trying to think of what I've got. Oh, that was 82. Good. Straight 9. Straight 9, like I said, great looking card. And when I look at these 84 Fleers, the first thing that my eyes go to is the edges of the blue. And when you see no chipping there, it just starts to pop. And then I look at the centering, top to bottom, left to right. Again, this one actually might be a hair off centered. Again, thinking maybe a 9.5, but a solid 9 on this one. So razor sharp, pretty happy with that one. Still going pretty well with my pre-grades. And you know what, we'll just do that. We'll do that one. I got another Mattingly. This is the 84. Another video previously. I cracked a factory set and I sent it in, and I think I got an 8.5. Now I can't even remember. This is a different one. Due to centering, though, I said a 7.5 to an 8.5. But it must be sharp. I must have picked it up somewhere else. It must have been a decent deal, or else I wouldn't have spent more money grading it. But expecting a 7.5 to an 8.5 due to grading. Let's see if we hit it in the middle and get that 8. Again, worth grading, but you can see it's a little bit heavy on the bottom and right borders. Top and left a little bit light. Solid card though. Like when it comes to the print, a lot of times you'll find these 84 they discolor, so you'll see them fade and yellow, and the color on that pops. So right where I expected to be, 7.5 to 8.5 on the Mattingly. All right, next. Okay, we got a decent one and 2 big ones. Pardon me. This is the one I was inferring when I was pleased to see that Kirby Puckett that got a 9. This is the Bo Jackson 86 Topps traded. It is the regular version. It's not the Tiffany. That would be dope. But this is the best one of these I've seen, and they are tough. There's a billion of them printed, so you can technically find higher grades relatively easily. But man, you go buy a bunch of these 86 sets, and centering was bad. The corners can kind of get pushed in. They traveled. They can take dings. The chipping on the black borders, there's a lot that can go wrong. But again, yeah, especially with the centering. But this one looked fantastic. I talk it up. I said a straight 9. I think maybe, again, might be a little fuzz on the right side. So far we've actually seen okay results with that rough cut on the outside. I said 9. Oh, man. Oh, I missed something. So I got one that says authentic color added. I will have to take a closer look at that. Now, you can tell why I sent it in just looking at it. I mean, it's absolutely stunning in terms of centering and borders there. So if I miss something, I miss something. Honestly, I'm not hyper disappointed because of the other grades have been pretty good right now. But yeah, that one does sting a little bit. So I'll try and take a closer look, see if I missed anything. But all right, next one up. Nice card here, and this one, I actually may have overspent on this one. It was I picked it up off of Whatnot, and in those live auctions, every once in a while you just kind of lose your mind and forget what you're doing. I didn't heinously overpay, but I probably can't flip this one. I've got, what have I got? Oh, I've got a PSA 9 in the PC. It's over my shoulder here, but this one I thought if it grades decently, it'll be okay. But I did say 8.5 to a 9. It was a sharp looking card. Again, maybe top. I have a top. What is that? Top. Gosh bless. Top border. Top border is the note that I have on that one, or not border. Top edge. So maybe a little bit of rough cut. Again, we've had some decentness there. 8.5. So exactly what I said. 8.5 to a 9. Maybe centering. Excellent looking card. So I think I will do okay on that one, and that one probably will be for sale. But that's another one. Again, that 84 in Fleer versus Donruss. You'll find that this one discolors a lot, especially on the back. This one hasn't. It's a fantastic looking card, so that'll go great in somebody's collection. And we are about to end with a big one. Bought this at a card show here local. The guy almost didn't want to sell it to me, but he did, and I'm glad he did. It was just incredibly good looking. Back is razor sharp, beautifully centered. I'm trying to find what I said. I said 8 conservatively with a hopeful 9. I don't have detailed reasoning, so I think I was just trying to be conservative. Well, it could still say authentic, couldn't it? But the one thing, one of the reasons I was actually okay buying this card, from the same collection, the guy had a slabbed Gretzky rookie card, and so it looked good. The Gretzky was I think it was a 7. Good looking card. This is a good card. Oh boy, here we go. I am hoping for a good one. 9 would be so awesome. Conservative 8, hopeful 9. 7. 7. And I will say I don't know why, unless that is a print defect and maybe not a photo defect. I'm not as familiar, but doggone it, man, I don't know what I missed there. Because if you can see that, it is spot on centered, razor sharp. Ooh, almost dropped. I mean, let's go this way. I mean, I don't see anything on the back in terms of chipping, whiting. Man, As good as it was, that was just a little disappointing. Glad that it's, I mean, it's authentic. And it, like, that, see, how is that, if it's a 7, how is that not a 7.5? Oh well. Anyways, got some good ones back. Again, those were all mine. Fairly right on the money in terms of where I was pre-grading the cards. So, you know, maybe I jumped the gun a little bit in terms of, you know, saying that they're super strict. Again, I tried to be really conservative. So, you know, again, you know, that 7, an old 8, you know, that 8.5, an old 9, who knows? Oh man, I gotta try that one. You know, some I thought were right on, some maybe a little bit strict. But you know, that's actually kind of what I have grown to expect from SGC. So as of now, I still think they are okay. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. We'll see you on the next one.